everyone. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Chapter 9. Shloka. Text 1. Sutta uvacha iti bhitah prajadrohat sarvadharma vivitsaya tato vinashanam pragad yatra deva vratopatat.
Sutta Goswami said, being afraid for having killed so many subjects on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, Maharaja Yudhishthira went to the scene of the massacre. There, Bhismadeva was lying on a bed of arrows, about to pass away.
Text 2. Tada te bhratarah sarve sadasvai swarnabhushitaihi anvagachan ratairvipra vyasadaumyadayastata.
At the time, all the brothers followed him on beautiful chariots drawn by first-class horses, decorated with gold ornaments. With them were Vaisya and rishis like Dhaumya, the learned priest of the Pandavas, and others.
Text 3. Bhagavanapi viprarshe ratena sadananjaya satyarvarochitah nrupaha kubera iva guhyakaihi.
O sage amongst the Brahmanas, Lord Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, also followed, seated on a chariot with Arjuna. Thus, King Yudhishthira appeared very aristocratic, like Kuvera surrounded by his companions, the Goyakas.
Text 4. Drushtva nipatitam bhumau divashchutamivamaram pranemuh Pandava Bhishmam Sanugah Sahachakrina.
Seeing him, Bhisma, lying on the ground like a demigod fallen from the sky, the Pandava king Yudhishthira, along with his younger brothers and Lord Sri Krishna, bowed down before him.
Text 5. Tatra brahmarshayah sarve devarshayascha sattama rajarshayascha tatrasan drashtum bharata pungavam.
Just to see the chief of the descendants of King Bharata, Bhisma, all the great souls in the universe, namely the rishis amongst the demigods, Brahmanas and kings, all situated in the quality of goodness, were assembled there.
Text 6 and 7. Parvato narado daumyo Bhagavan Badarayanaha Bruhadashvo Bharadvajaha Sashishyo Renukasutaha Vasishta Indra Pramada Strito Grutsamadositaha Kakshivan Gautamotrischa Kaushikota Sudarshanaha.
All the sages like Parvata Muni, Narada, Dhaumya, Vaisya, the incarnation of God, Radva, Bharadvaja, and Parasurama and disciples, Visita, Indra Pramada, Trita, Ritsamada, Asita, Kaksivan, Gautama, Atri, Kausika, and Sudarsana were present.
Text 8. Anye cha munayo brahman brahmaratadayo mala shishyai rupeta ajagmuhu kashyapangirasadayah.
And many others like Sukadeva Goswami and other purified souls, Kasyapa and Angirasa and others, all accompanied by their respective disciples, arrived there.
Text 9. तान् समेतान् महाभागान् उपलभ्य वसुत्तमः पूजयामास धर्मज्ञो देशकालविभागवेत्.
Bhismadeva, who was the best amongst the 8 vassals, received and welcomed all the great and powerful rishis who were assembled there, for he knew perfectly all the religious principles according to time and place.
Text 10. कृष्णं च तत्प्रभावज्ञा आसीनं जगदीश्वरं हृदिस्थं पूजयामासा माययोपात्तविग्रहम्.
Lord Sri Krishna is situated in everyone's heart, yet he manifests his transcendental form by his eternal potency. This very Lord was sitting before Bhismadev, and since Bhismadev knew of his glories, he worshipped him duly.
Text 11. पाण्डुपुत्रानुपासीनान् प्रश्रय प्रेम सङ्गतान् अभ्याचष्टानुरागाश्रयी रन्दीभूतेन चक्षुषा.
The sons of Maharaja Pandu were sitting silently nearby, overtaken with affection for their dying grandfather. Seeing this, Bhismadeva congratulated them with feeling. There were tears of ecstasy in his eyes, for he was overwhelmed by love and affection.
Text 12. Aho kashtamho nyayam yadyuyam dharmanandana जीवितुं नार्हत क्लिष्टं विप्रधर्माच्युताश्रयाः.
Bhismadeva said, "Oh, what terrible sufferings and what terrible injustices you good souls suffer for being the sons of religion personified. You did not deserve to remain alive under those tribulations, yet you were protected by the Brahmanas, God and religion."
Text 13. संस्थिते तिरते पाण्डौ पृता बालप्रजावधूः यष्मत्कृते बहून् क्लेशान् प्राप्तातोकवती मुहुः.
As far as my daughter-in-law Kunti is concerned, upon the great General Pandu's death, she became a widow with many children, and therefore she suffered greatly. And when you were grown up, she suffered a great deal also because of your actions.
Text 14. सर्वं कालकृतं मन्ये भवतां च यदप्रियं सपालो यद्वशे लोको वायोरिव गनावलीः.
In my opinion, this is all due to inevitable time, under whose control everyone in every planet is carried, just as the clouds are carried by the wind.
Text 15. यत्र धर्मसुतो राजा गदापाणिर्वृकोदरः कृष्णो स्त्रीगाण्डीवं चापं सुहृत्कृष्णस्ततो विपत्.
Oh, how wonderful is the influence of inevitable time! It is irreversible. Otherwise, how can there be reverses in the presence of King Yudhishthira, the son of the demigod controlling religion? Bhima, the great fighter with a club, the great bowman Arjuna with his mighty weapon Gandiva, and above all, the Lord, the direct well-wisher of the Pandavas.
Text 16. Na ह्यस्य कर्हिचिद्राजन् पुमान् वेद विदित्सितं यद्विज्ञाज्ञासया युक्ता मुह्यन्ति कवयोऽपि.
Okay, no one can know the plan of Lord Sri Krishna. Even though great philosophers inquire exhaustively, they are bewildered.
Text 17. तस्मादिदं दैवतन्त्रं व्यवस्य भरतर्षभा तस्यानुविहितो नाथा नाथपाहि प्रजाः प्रभो.
O best among the descendants of Bharata, Yudhishthira. I maintain, therefore, that all this is within the plan of the Lord. Accepting the inconvincible plan of the Lord, you must follow it. You are now the appointed administrative head, and, my lord, you should now take care of the subjects who are now rendered help.
Text 18. Yesha vai Bhagavan Sakshad Adyo Narayana Puman Mohayan Mayaya Lokam Godascharati Vrishnishu.
This Sri Krishna is no other than the inconceivable original personality of Godhead. He is the first Narayan, the supreme enjoyer, but he is moving amongst the descendants of King Vishnu, just like one of us, and he is bewildering us with his self-created energy.
Text 19. Asyanubhavam Bhagavan Vedaguhyatamam Shivaha Devarshir Narada Sakshad Bhagavan Kapilo Nrupa.
O King, Lord Shiv, Narada, the sage amongst the demigods, and Kapila, the incarnation of Godhead, all know very confidentially about his glories through direct contact.
Text 20. Yam manyase matuleyam priyam mitram suhruttamam akaro sachivam dutam sauhrudadata saratim.
O King, that personality whom, out of ignorance only, you thought to be your maternal cousin, your very dear friend, well-wisher, counselor, messenger, benefactor, etc., is that very personality of Godhead Sri Krishna.
Text 21. Sarvatmanah samadrusho hyadvayasyanaham krute tatkrutam mati vaishavyam niravadyasya nakvachet.
Being the absolute personality of Godhead, he is present in everyone's heart. He is equally kind to everyone, and he is free from the false ego of differentiation. Therefore, whatever he does is free from material inebriety. He is in equibalanced.
Text 22. Tatapekanta bhakteshu pashya bhupanukampitam yanme sumstyajatah sakshat krishno darshanamagataha.
Yet, despite his being equally kind to everyone, he has graciously come before me while I am ending my life, for I am his unflinching servitor.
Text 20. Text 22. Tatapyekanta bhakteshu pashya bhupanukampitam yanme sumstyajatah sakshat krishno darshanamagataha. Text 23. Bhaktya veshyamano yasmin vachayannama kirtayan tyajan kalevaram yogi muchyate makama karmabhihi.
The personality of Godhead, who appears in the mind of the devotee by attentive devotion and meditation, and by chanting of the holy name, releases the devotee from the bondage of fruitive activities at the time of his quitting of the material body.
Text 24. Sadeva Devo Bhagavan Pratikshatam Kalevaram Yavadidam Hinomyaham Prasanna Hasaruna Lochanollasa Mukam Bhojodhyana Patashchatarpujaha.
May my Lord, who is four-handed and whose beautifully decorated lotus face, with eyes as red as the rising sun, is smiling, kindly await me at that moment when I quit this material body.
Hey Krishna. Hare Krishna. Sorry for
Hare
any
Krishna.
mistakes.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all so much, dear devotees. Very nice recitations. And I'd like to inform you that tonight we don't have a facilitator for our class tonight. Sincere apologies. So I've been asked to host the meeting. I would like to say that what we'll do next is, before we go on to the purpose, let me just say the Mangala Charan prayer, and then we will start the recitation of the purpose. So you can all recite behind muted mics if you know the Mangala Charan prayer, and then we'll also read the English translation of the Mangala Charan prayer. Om Jnana-timirandhasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chaksurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Yuta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Sri Visakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priya Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya eva cha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gora Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. So I'd like to invite one devotee to read the English translation of the Mangala Charan prayer, please. So let's see. Can I ask Krishangi Mataji, would you like to read the English translation, please, of the Mangala Charan prayer? Hare Krishna, Krishangi Mataji.
Yes.
Thank you.
I offer my respectful obeisance unto my spiritual master, who has opened my eyes, which were blinded by the darkness of ignorance, with the torchlight of knowledge. When will Sri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, who is established within this material world, the mission to fulfill the desire of Lord Chaitanya, give me shelter under his lotus feet? Do you want me to continue still?
Yes, please.
I offer my respectful obeisance unto the lotus feet for my spiritual master and all the other preceptors on the path of devotional service. I offer my respectful obeisance unto all the Vaishnavas, unto the 6 Goswamis, including Sri Rupa Goswami, Sri Sanatan Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Jiva Goswami, and their associates. I offer my respectful obeisance unto Advaita Acharya Prabhu, Sri Nityanand Prabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and all his devotees headed by Srinivas Thakur. I then offer my respectful obeisance. Sorry, Gona. Hare Krishna. I then offer my respectful obeisance unto the lotus feet of Lord Krishna, Srimati Radharani, and all the gopis headed by Lalita and Vishaka. Shri Prabhupada Pranati. I offer my respectful obeisance unto His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter of his lotus feet. Our respectful obeisances are unto you, O spiritual kindly, preaching the message of Lord Chaitanya Dev and delivering the Western countries which are filled with impersonalism and voidism. I offer my respects I offer my respects unto His Grace Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, who is very dear to Lord Krishna, having taken shelter of his lotus feet. I offer my respects to Shri Varsha Bhami Devi Daitya Das, another name of Shri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, who is favored by Srimati Radharani, and who is the ocean of transcendental mercy and the deliverer of the science of Krishna. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, the personified energy of Sri Chaitanya's mercy, who deliver devotional service which is enriched with conjugal love of Radha and Krishna, coming exactly in the line of revelation of Sri Rupa Goswami. I offer my respectful obeisances unto you, who are the personified teachings of Lord Chaitanya. You are the deliverer of the fallen souls. You do not tolerate any statement which is against the teachings of devotional service enunciated by Srila Rupa Goswami. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, the spiritual master of Sri Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati, who is renunciation personified. He is always merged in a feeling of separation and intense love of Krishna. I offer my respectful obeisance unto Sachinan Bhakti Vinod Bhakti Vinod, who is transcendental energy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He is a strict follower of the Goswamis, headed by Srila Rupa. I offer my respectful obeisance to Jagannath Das Babaji, who is respected by the entire Vaishnava community and who discovered the place where Lord Chaitanya appeared. I offer my respectful obeisance unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord. They are just like the desire trees who can fulfill the desires of everyone, and they are full of compassion for the fallen conditioned souls. Oh, most munificent incarnation, Krishna himself appearing as Sri Krishna Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. You assume the golden color of Srimati Radharani. You are widely displaying pure love of Krishna. We offer our respectful obeisances unto you. Glory to all merciful Radha and Madan Mohan. I am lame and ill-advised, yet they are my direction. Their lotus feet are everything to me. In a temple of yours.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji. Very nicely recited. We'll stop there. Thank you so much, dear devotees, for joining this evening's session. And once again, sincere apologies that we don't have a facilitator to facilitate our chat session this evening. So I think what we'll do next is to read the purpose of the verses today. And today's verses are number 5 to number 8. So let's see. Is that number 5, Jyoti Mataji, that you are displaying at the moment? That's fine. Thank you very much. So can I ask Pushti Devi Mataji, please, to read the translation and purport of number 5, please? Thank you.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Hare Krishna, everybody. Translation. Just to see the chief of the descendant of King Bharata, Bhishma, all the great souls in the universe, namely the rishis among the demigods, brahmanas, and kings, all situated in the quality of goodness, were assembled there. Purport. The rishis are those who have attained perfection by spiritual achievement. Such spiritual achievements can be earned by all. Rather, one is king or mendicant. Bhishma Dev himself was also one of the Brahmarshi, the chief of the descendant of King Bharata. All rishis are situated in the quality of goodness. All of them assembled there on hearing the news of the great warriors impending death. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji. Jyoti Mataji, can I ask you to read the next translation and purport, please. Thank you.
All the sages like Parvata Muni, Narada, Dhaumya, Vyasa, the incarnation of God, Brihad, the Bharadvaja, and Parshuram and disciples, Vasistha, Indrapradmada, Trita, Sammada, Asita, Kaksivan, Gautama, Atri, Kausika, and Sudarshana were present. Parvata Muni is considered to be one of the oldest sages. He is almost always a constant companion of Narada Muni. They are also spacemen competent to travel in the air without the help of any material vehicle. Parvata Muni is also a Devarsi or a great sage amongst the demigods like Narada. He was present along with Narada at the sacrificial ceremony of Maharaj Janamejaya, son of Maharaj Pariksit. In this sacrifice, all the snakes of the world were to be killed. Parvata Muni and Narada Muni are called Gandharvas also because they can travel in the air singing the glories of the Lord. Since they can travel in the air, they observed Draupadi's Swayamvar ceremony, selecting of her own husband from the air like Narada Muni. Parvata Muni also used to visit the royal assembly in the heaven of King Indra as a Gandharva. Sometimes he visited the royal assembly of Kuvera, one of the important demigods. Both Narada and Parvata were once in trouble with the daughter of Maharaj Srinjaya. Maharaj Srinjaya got the benediction of his son by Parvata Muni. Narada Muni is inevitably associated with the narrations of the Puranas. He is described in the Bhagavatam. In his previous life, he was the son of a maidservant, but by good association with pure devotees, he became enlightened in devotional service. And in the next life, he became a perfect man, comparable with himself only. In the Mahabharata, his name is mentioned in many places. He is the principal Devarshi or the chief sage among the demigods. He is the son and disciple of Brahmaji, and from him the disciplic succession in the line of Brahma has been spread. He initiated Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj, and many celebrated devotees of the Lord. He initiated even Vyasadeva, the author of the Vedic literatures, and from Vyasadeva, Madhvacharya was initiated. And thus the Madhva Sampradaya, in which the Gaudiya Sampradaya is also included, has spread all over the universe. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu belonged to this Madhva Sampradaya. Therefore, Brahmaji, Narada, Vyasa, down to Madhva, Chaitanya, and Goswamis all belonged to the same line of disciplic succession. Naradji has instructed many kings from time immemorial. In the Bhagavatam, we can see that he instructed Prahlad Maharaj while he was in the womb of his mother, and he instructed Vasudeva, father of Krishna, as well as Maharaj Yudhishthira. Dhaumya, a great sage who practiced severe penances at Utkochana Tirtha and was appointed royal priest of the Pandava kings. He acted as the priest in many religious functions of the Pandavas, Samskara, and also each of the Pandavas was attended by him at the betrothal of Draupadi. He was present even during the exile of the Pandavas and used to advise them in circumstances where they were perplexed. He instructed them how to live incognito for 1 year, and his instructions were strictly followed by the Pandavas during that time. His name is mentioned also when the general funeral ceremony was performed after the battle of Kurukshetra. In the Anusasana Parva of Mahabharata, he gave very elaborate religious instructions to Maharaj Yudhishthira. He was actually the right type of priest of a householder, for he could guide the Pandavas on the right path of religion. A priest is meant for guiding the householder progressively in the right path of ashram dharma or the occupational duty of a particular caste. There is particularly no difference between family priest and the spiritual master. The sages, saints, and brahmanas were especially meant for such functions.
Thank you, Jyoti Mataji. Thank you very much. Can I ask Yashvini Mataji, please, to read the next few verses? Thank you.
Hare Krishna. Vatarkyamna Vyasadeva, he is known as Krishna. Krishna Dvaipayana. Dvaipayana Satyavat Sutta, Parasarya, Parasatyatmaja, Badaryayana, Vedavyasa, etc. He was the son of Mahamuni Parasara in the womb of Satyavati prior to her betrothal with Maharaj Santanu, the father of the great general grandfather Bhishmadeva. He is a powerful incarnation of Narayan, and he broadcasts the Vedic wisdom to the world. As such, Vyasadeva is offered respects before one chants the Vedic literature, especially the Puranas. Sukadeva Goswami was his son, and rishis like Vaishampayana were his disciples for different branches of the Vedas. He is the author of the great epic Mahabharata and the great transcendental literature Bhagavatam. The Brahma Sutras, the Vedanta Sutras, or Badarayana Sutras were compiled by him. Among sages, he is the most respected author by dint of severe penances. When he wanted to record the great epic Mahabharata for the welfare of all people in the age of Kali, he was feeling the necessity of a powerful writer who could take up his dictation. By the order of Brahmaji, Sri Ganeshji took up the charge of noting down the dictation on the condition that Vyasadeva would not stop dictation for a moment. The Mahabharata was thus compiled by the joint endeavor of Vyasa and Ganesha.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Seema Mataji, would you like to recite the next paragraph, please? Hare Krishna, Seema Mataji. Okay. Deepak Prabhu, would you like to recite the next verse, please?
Hare Krishna Mataji. Sorry,
Hare
I was
Krishna.
on mute. Yeah, sorry, I was on mute. I started.
Okay,
and
thank
then
you.
Yeah. By the order of his mother, Satyavati, who was later married to Maharaja Shantanu, and by the request of Vishmadeva, the eldest son of Maharaja Shantanu, by his first wife, the Ganga, he begot three brilliant sons, whose names are Dhritarashtra, Pandu, and Vidura. The Mahabharata was compiled by Vyasadeva after the battle of Kurukshetra and after the death of all the heavens, Mahabharata, heroes of Mahabharata. Sorry, it was first spoken in the royal assembly of Maharaja Janmenjaya, the son of Maharaja Parikshit.
Thank you, Mataji. Paresh Prabhu, would you like to read the next verse, please? Hare Krishna, Paresh Prabhu. Okay, Jai Prabhu, would you like to read the next verse, please? Okay, Meenakshi Mataji, would you like to read the next verse, please?
Brahadasva, an ancient sage who used to meet Maharaja Yudhishthira now and then. First of all, he met Maharaja Yudhishthira at Kamyavna. This sage narrated the history of Maharaja Nala. There is another Brahadasva who is the son of Ishkavaku dynasty, Mahabharata Vana Parva 209.4-5.
Thank you, Mataji. Premila Mataji, the next verse, please. Thank you. Hare Krishna, Premila Mataji. Okay.
Hare Krishna Mataji, sorry, can you please just tell me which verse that is?
Yes, Bharatvaja.
Okay, thank you. Bharatvaja, he is one of the 7 great rishis and was present at the time of the birth ceremony of Arjun. Sometimes, I'm missing a bit here, undertook severe penances on the shore of the Ganges, and his ashram is still, I don't know, I'm missing a bit here, Gadhama.
No, Mataji, there are a few words that are missing. So after
Okay.
the word ceremony of Arjuna, you have to start the powerful rishi.
You know, I haven't got it properly on my screen here, so maybe
Okay.
somebody else could read it.
Yes, that's all right. I'll ask somebody else to read.
Thank you.
Let's see. Govinda Gopi Mataji, would you like to read, please? Okay, otherwise, Chetna Mataji, please.
I'll also try.
Am I starting from?
From Bharadvaja.
Okay, Bharadvaja. He is one of the 7 great rishis and was present at the time of the birth ceremony of Arjun. The powerful rishi sometimes undertook severe penances on the shore of the Ganges, and his ashram is still celebrated at Prayagadama. It is learned that this rishi, while taking bath in the Ganges, happened to meet Kritachi, one of the most beautiful society girls of heaven, and thus he discharged semen, which was kept and preserved in an earthen pot, and from which Drona was born. So Dronacharya is the son of Bharadvaja Muni. Others say that Bharadvaja, the father of Drona, is a different person from Maharishi Bharadvaj. He was a great devotee of Brahma. Once he approached Dronacharya and requested him to stop the battle of Kurukshetra.
Thank you, Mataji.
Okay.
Thank you. Shabani Mataji, would you like to read the next paragraph, please? Hare Krishna, Shabani Mataji.
Yes,
Or Girish Prabhu.
yes, Mataji. From Parshuram, Mataji?
Yes, please.
Okay. From Parshurama is so old that he met both Rama.
It is the other one, Parasurama or
and
Renukasuta.
Yeah, Parshurama or Renukasuta. He is the son of Maharishi Jamadagni and Shrimati Renuka. Thus, he is also known as Renukasuta. He is one of the powerful incarnations of God, and he killed the Kshatriya community as a whole 21 times. With the blood of the Kshatriyas, he pleased the souls of his forefathers. Later on, he underwent severe penances at the Mahendra Parvata. After taking the whole earth from the Kshatriyas, he gave it in charity to Kashyapa Muni. Parashurama instructed the Dhanurveda, or the science of fighting, to Dronacharya because he happened to be a Brahmana. He was present during the coronation of Maharaj Yudhishthira, and he celebrated the function along with other great rishis.
Thank you, Mataji. Is Girish Prabhu there, please?
Yeah, Hare Krishna Mataji.
Thank you.
Parshuram is so old that he met both Ram and Krishna at different times. He fought with Ram, but he accepted Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He also praised Arjun when he saw him with Krishna. When Bhishma refused to marry Amba, who wanted him to become her husband, Amba met Parshuram, and by her request only, he asked Bhishma to accept her as his wife. Bhishma refused to obey his order, although he was one of the spiritual masters of Bhishma. Parshuram fought with Bhishma. When Bhishma neglected his warning, both of them fought very severely, and at last Parshuram was pleased with Bhishma and gave him the benediction of becoming the greatest fighter in the world.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna. I'll read the next paragraph. Vasistha, the great celebrated sage among the Brahmanas, well known as the Brahmarsi Vasistha Deva, He is a prominent figure in both the Ramayana and Mahabharata periods. He celebrated the coronation ceremony of the personality of Godhead Sri Ram. He was present also on the battlefield of Kurukshetra. He could approach all the higher and lower planets, and his name is also connected with the history of Hiranyakashipu. There was a great tension between him and Vishwamitra, who wanted his Kamadhenu, wish-fulfilling cow. Vashishta Muni refused to spare his Kamadhenu, and for this Vishwamitra killed his 100 sons. As a perfect Brahmana, he tolerated all the taunts of Vishwamitra. Once he tried to commit suicide on account of Vishwamitra's torture, but all his attempts were unsuccessful. He jumped from a hill, but the stones on which he fell became a stack of cotton, and thus he was saved. He jumped into the ocean, but the waves washed him ashore. He jumped into the river, but the river also washed him ashore. Thus all his suicide attempts were unsuccessful. He is also one of the 7 rishis and husband of Arundhati, the famous star. We have come to the next one, which is Indra Pramada, another celebrated rishi. Can I ask Pushti Devi Mataji to read the next bit, please? Thank you.
Pritha, one of the
Pritha.
3. Sorry, Mataji, is that right one? Yes?
Yes, that's the right
Yeah.
one. Carry on, please.
Pritha, one of the 3 sons of Prajapati Gautama. He was the 3rd son, and his other 2 brothers were known as Ekat and Dvita. All the brothers were great sages and strict followers of the principles of religion. By dint of severe penance, they were promoted to Brahmaloka, the planet where Brahmaji lives. Once Tritha Muni fell into a well, he was an organizing worker of many sacrifices, and as one of the great sages, he also came to show respect to Brahmaji. At his deathbed, he was one of the 7 sages in the Vaikuntha Loka, Varuna Loka. He hailed from the western countries of the world. As such, most probably he belonged to a European countries. At that time, the whole world was under one Vedic culture. Shall I continue, Mataji?
Yes, please. Yes, please, Mataji. One more. Thank you.
Grastamada, one of the sages of the heavenly kingdom. He was a close friend of Indra, the king of heaven, and was as great as Brihaspati. He used to visit the royal assembly of Maharaja Yudhishthira, and he also visited the place where Bhishma Deva breathed his last. Sometimes he explained the glories of Lord Shiva before Maharaja Yudhishthira. He was the son of Vithaheva, and he resembled the features of body of Indra. Sometimes the enemies of Indra mistook him to be Indra and arrested him. He was a great scholar of Rigveda, and thus he was highly respected by Brahmanas community. He lived a life of celibacy and was powerful in every respect.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Mataji. Would Paresh Prabhu, would you like to recite the next paragraph, please? Okay. Anybody else would like to recite whom I've left out?
Shall I try, Mataji?
Oh, yes, please, Urmila Mataji, please. Thank you.
Yeah. Kaksivan, one of the sons of...
No, it is, Mataji, it is Asita.
Yeah.
Don't talk. Kaksita. That paragraph, no? Oh,
Asita. Asita, there was a king.
Yeah, Asita, there was a king of the same name, but here in the Asita mentioned is the Asita Deval Rishi, a great powerful sage of the time. He explained to his father
1.5 million verses from the Mahabharata. He was one of the members in the snake sacrifice of Maharaj Janamejaya. He was also present during the coronation ceremony of Maharaj Yudhishthira along with other great rishis. He also gave Maharaj Yudhishthira instruction while he was on the Anjana hill. He was also one of the devotees of Lord Shiva.
Thank you, Mataji. Jyoti Mataji, do we have many more verses in this purport? Could you check for me, please?
Let me scroll, Mataji. Let's
Thank
see.
you.
So we are at Kaksivan right now.
Yes.
That's it, yeah.
Oh, we're coming to the end. Okay. So
Then we have 8
Kaksivan.
and 9 as well, isn't it? 8 we have.
Yeah, we'll come to the end of this text number
8.
7. Yeah, if you
8
can
is
go
that
back.
much, Mataji.
Yes, we're nearly coming to the end of this purport. So
Okay.
let's go back and okay. Anybody else would like to recite again, please?
I'm happy to.
Oh, yes, please. Thank you.
So I'm starting from Atri, is it?
It's starting from
Kaushika.
Okay.
Kakshivan.
Kakshivan, one of the sons of Gautam Muni and the father of the great sage Chandakaushika. He was one of the members of the parliament of Maharaj Yudhishthir.
Mataji, would you like to read till the end, please? Thank you.
Okay. Atri Muni was a great Brahmana sage and was one of the mental sons of Brahmaji. Brahmaji is so powerful that simply by thinking of a son, he can have it. These sons are known as Manasa Putras. Out of the 7 Manasa Putras of Brahmaji and out of the 7 great Brahmana sages, Atri was one. In his family, the great Prachetas were also born. Atri Muni had 2 Kshatriya sons who became kings. King Arthma is one of them. He is counted as one of the 21 Prajapatis. His wife's name was Ansuya, and he helped Maharaj Parikshit in his great sacrifices. Kaushika, one of the permanent rishi members in the royal assembly of Maharaj Yudhishthir. He sometimes met Lord Krishna. There are several other sages of the same name. Should I continue?
Yes, please, Mataji, till the end, please. Thank you.
Darshana. This wheel, which is accepted by the personality of Godhead, Vishnu or Krishna, as his personal weapon, is the most powerful weapon, greater than the Brahmastra or similar disastrous weapons. In some of the Vedic literatures, it is said that Agnidev, the fire god, presented this weapon to Lord Sri Krishna, but factually this weapon is eternally carried by the Lord. Agnidev presented this weapon to Krishna in the same way that Rukmini was given by Maharaj Rukma to the Lord. The Lord accepts such presentations from his devotees, even though such presentations are eternally his property. There is an elaborate description of this weapon in the Adi Parva of the Mahabharata. Lord Sri Krishna used this weapon to kill Shishupal, a rival of the Lord. He also killed Shalva by this weapon, and sometimes he wanted his friend Arjun to use it to kill his enemies. Mahabharata Virata Parva 56.3. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Chetna Mataji. Very nice recitations by everyone. Hari Bol. So we will just check and see. We've got 2 more verses actually. Are the next 2 purports very long, Jyoti Mataji?
Mataji,
9 and
8. Sorry,
8.
Mataji. 8
Yes.
is our last verse.
Yes, we might as well end reading the purport, but is it very long?
So it's just starts from here to this much.
That's fine. Would you like
Yeah.
to start reading it, please, Mataji? Thank you.
Okay, Mataji. I'll read the translation as well. And many others like Sukadeva Goswami and other purified souls, Kasyapa and Angirasa and others, all accompanied by their respective disciples, arrived there. Purport. Sukadeva Goswami, Brahmarata, the famous son and disciple of Sri Vyasadeva, who taught him first the Mahabharata and then Srimad Bhagavatam. Sukadeva Goswami recited 1,400,000 verses of the Mahabharata in the councils of Gandharvas, Yakshas, and Rakshasas, and then recited Srimad Bhagavatam for the first time in the presence of Maharaj Pariksit. He thoroughly studied all the Vedic literatures from his great father. Thus, he was a completely purified soul by dint of his extensive knowledge of the principles of religion. From Mahabharata Sabha Parva, it is understood that he was also present in the royal assembly of Maharaj Yudhishthira, and at the fasting of Maharaj Pariksit, as a bona fide disciple of Sri Vyasadeva, he inquired from his father very extensively about religious principles and spiritual values, and his great father also satisfied him by teaching him the yoga system by which one can attain spiritual kingdom. The difference between fruitive work and empiric knowledge, the ways and means of attaining spiritual realization, and the four ashramas, namely the student life, the householder's life, the retired life, and the renounced life. The sublime position of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the process of seeing Him face to face, the bona fide candidate for receiving knowledge, the consideration of the five elements, the unique position of intelligence, the consciousness of the material nature and the living entity, the symptoms of the self-realized soul, the working principles of the material body, the symptoms of influential modes of nature, the tree of perpetual desire, the psychic activities. Sometimes he went to the sun planet with the permission of his father and Naradji. Descriptions of his travel in space are given in the Sati Parva of the Mahabharata 332. At last he attained the transcendental realm. He is known by different names like Arineya, Arunisutta, Vyasaki, and Vyasatmaja.
Thank you, Mataji. Thank you very much. Shabani Mataji, the next verse, please. Kashyapa.
Kashyapa, one of the Prajapatis, the son of Marichi, and one of the son-in-laws of Prajapati Daksha. He is the father of the gigantic bird Garuda, who was given elephants and tortoise and eatables. He married 13 daughters of Prajapati Daksha, and their names are Aditi, Diti, Danu, Kashta, Arishita, Surasha, Ila, Muni, Krodhavasa, Tamara, Surabhi, Sarama, and Timi. He begot many children, both demigods and demons, but those wives from his first wife Aditi, all the 12 Adityas were born. One of them is Vamana, the incarnation of Godhead. This great sage Kashyapa was also present at the time of Arjun's birth. He received a presentation of the whole world from Parshuram, and later on he asked Parshurama to go out of the world. His other name is Arita Nemi. He lives on the northern side of the universe.
Thank you, Mataji. Girish Prabhuji, please. Thank you.
Angirsa, he is the son of Maharishi Angira and is known as Brahaspati, the priest of the demigods. It is said that Dronacharya was his partial incarnation, Shukracharya was the spiritual master of the demons, and Brahaspati challenged him. His son is Kach, and he delivered the fire weapon first to Bhardwaj Muni. He begat 6 sons like the fire god by his wife Chandramasi, one of the reputed stars. He could travel in space and therefore he could present himself even in the planets of Brahmlok and Indralok. He advised the king of Heman Indra about conquering the demons. Once he cursed Indra, who thus had to become a hog on the earth and was unwilling to return to heaven. Such is the power of the attraction of the illusionary energy. Even a hog doesn't wish to part with its earthly possession in exchange for a heavenly kingdom. He was a religious preceptor of the natives of different planets.
Hare Krishna. Thank you all very much for the lovely recitations. and for joining the class tonight and also your association. Thank you very much. So does anyone have any reflections or realizations they would like to share before we end the session, please? Okay. Or would anyone like to make any comments? Okay, thank you very much. So let's end the session by saying the Vaishnav prayer. You can all unmute and we'll all say the prayer together.
It's very nice,
Panchaka.
Mataji. I want to thank you for the wonderful class, Mataji.
Thank you very much. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha.
Ananta Koti
Hare
Vaishnava.
Krishna. Ananda Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Srila
Hare
Prabhupada
Hare
ki
Krishna.
jai.
Jai.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Mataji.
Krishna.
Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Mataji.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.